In the rhythm of the earth, I feel like ancient spirits dancing, guiding the night. With every wave of the river, I hear your song. You whisper through the trees where we all belong. You're the echo of the ages, a sacred call. You're the return of the ancient ones. It's true, the melody of life, it's all in you. We are love made manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue. Flowing like the water, nurturing the ground. In the cradle of creation, our hearts are found. You're the mother of dreams, the stars up above. With every breath I take, I feel your love. Go forth, my soul, in peace and harmony. You're the return of the ancient ones. It's true, the melody of life, it's all in you. We are love made manifest through and through. Together we rise in every shade and hue. Embrace the love, let the music flow. In the heart of the world, let your spirit flow.
I'd rather be a free man in my grave than living as a puppet or a slave. Isn't that right? Maria Orsic's people, that the harder they come, the harder they fall. And believe it or not, see it or not, we are one, because we're initiated from another world, from the future. And I want us together to remember, recover, and return. Remember who you are. Recover the freedom and energy that what we call sex here, what we call there love, magic, amour. What we must recover is the most powerful thing that we own as a human, as a eternal soul. We must recover our nuclear, so to speak, our weapon, our nuclear bomb. And then return to the beautiful mother and kiss her beautiful lips and hug her beautiful body and sit up on a Venusian Venus, right? Lucifer. That's where we live now, in another dimension in the future. And if that's too much, tune out, turn off, tune out, drop out, whatever the fuck they used to say. It's not my generation. Because generation and everything is an illusion. But we learn from illusions. And we put ourselves through these things for the glorious moment of enlightenment, reawakening. And on that note, I want to let everyone know that I swear by the eternal mother goddess, Maria Orsic, my own true self, my own heart of hearts, everything I love, that everything I'm telling you is the truth exactly as it was, because it will be, because it always was, as it is. That's the truth. As it is the truth. That's objective, absolute truth, is the reality of what actually happens, not your opinion. It's not your authority. You have no authority to define what happened, because what happened is objectively absolute because it was recorded and witnessed. So there's no escaping that. That is the only objective absolute. You don't know what anyone's intentions or motives were, or sometimes even your own. Or if you may have been the victim of magic and someone was acting through you. That is exactly, practically what this ritual is about. Remember, recover, return. Does not mean reminisce. I mean, that's the last time I'll say that. Excuse me. Sorry. But I want everyone to know, I swear by this. But a little lighter. I want to begin with one of the first things that Maria had me sit down and write down in the ritual, word for word. And I really believe this was about 3 or 4 months after I knew she was Maria. And we were, really getting close. And I was really becoming her earthling devotee, her true earthling student. And I'm going to read this, God for God. And it says, it's under the heading, Sayings of the Goddess. Sayings of the Goddess, if I can speak. Your waking self has to catch up with your astral self. The key is learning that you can trust your astral self. That is, if you have one. Your astral self is the being that activates predestination. The destination you planned before coming here. And injects meaning into random events, causing everything to mean something, when at the time it meant something totally different. Your consciousness has the ability to create a story where there was, in reality, nothing at all. Knowing this, you must turn it on its head and live by the astral self, imagining your escape and rebirth into your immortal body. Back home. You must be the warrior and never the victim. Hail to you, beautiful mother. Thank you so much, beautiful mother. And, what that says to me practically, individual to individual, is like, as you experience this, you reverse engineer it. You analyze it from the last objective, absolute moment and reverse engineer. How did this happen? How did I get to this revelation? How did I get to this light? How did 2 + 2 become 5? Right? Because I'm going to get to it, but Lucifer, Louis, Saint Louis, Shiva, said to me the night we officially met and came face to face in a sort of, not sort of, but an official earthling ritual ceremony. And he said to me, "So your mother has taught you all about numbers and letters." And I thought, what? He said, "Now that you really know that 5 is the magic number, because 6 is afraid of 7, because 7, 8, 9. I laughed. I looked at Maria, and I just felt like a beautiful magic spell washed away everything bad, like the good witch from The Wizard of Oz, Glinda, had tapped me with her magic wand. 5 is a magic number, because in reality, 6 is afraid of 7, because 7, 8, 9. And I understood there was a real inside story, inside joke between everyone that was present in this energy field that this was happening to me. And this was like an ancient joke about how numbers are people. Not not symbolically, but actually, like when we get our digital DNA readout from the Venusian technology we call frequency match technology, matches people, creates prearranged magic marriages for specific purposes of the gods. We don't know of anything God. Just to throw that in there. There is something some of us say we have experienced. It's beyond everything. Everything. But we don't call it God because it don't call it God. We don't know what it is. And, back to why 7, 8, 9. I'm not trying to talk in a code to you. I am, like I said, telling you exactly what happened to me, and I am relating to you so you can come there with me and you can actually say with me, like, what the fuck is going on? What is real? Let me just juxtapose that out-of-body experience. I was clearly out of my body in another world. My body was laying in my bed. Or actually, I got out of the bed. I was laying on the floor. And completely forgot that my matrix body was laying on the floor, and I was walking around, crying, laughing, dancing in another world. Like when you're dreaming. You can do this. You do it every night. But you dismiss yourself and that ability to create entire worlds. And I'm not saying I created this world. I'm saying this is the vehicle that Lucifer is opening the door for you to get in, and he'll drive you to his world that is his dream world, that is slashed with technology that is, what we would call lucid, lucid dreaming side, maybe, S-I-D. I mean C-I-D, side. Lose side. What side? Oh, his unconscious side. Is that right? Could that be possible? That's crazy deep, Joseph. If you think that I could just think up stuff like that, I really take that as a compliment. In a way, I wish it was true, But I am more thankful that it's not, because I like the excitement, the energy of Lou and Maria. I totally, completely, 100% enjoy people that I feel are smarter than me and more powerful to me in the way that I value. Mainly songs, books, and movies, to put it at a caveman level, like I am. Or at least part of me has to live in this world. I live in this world too. Right? So, I swear to these words. When on May 4th, I was getting ready for the ritual that would at midnight turn into May 5th. And as I told earlier, say we've done 600 rituals. Maria came to my house and let me know she was here early, maybe once or twice. This night, she so specifically came early, made me know that she was here, and told me to go into my closet and see if I had my Shiva shirt, which some 11 years previous she told me to buy. And I am saying she did this because she knew the future. She doesn't want me concentrating on that so much, because it's not that big of a deal to know the future of a computer program, a video game. To know what happens on level 5 and what happens on level 6 and what happens on, when you're da-da-da-da-da. But my main witness, my Vril sister, knows that everything that Maria ever said would happen did happen. Matter of fact, before I knew she was Maria Orsic, a full 13 months before I knew she was Maria Orsic, out of the blue, each ritual, she would say to me, your health problems are all caused by viruses. Do you know what a virus is? And I, like the second or third time, I was like, am I crazy? Or is this the third time you've said the exact same thing to me? And she's like, because you're not hearing me. She's like, we're in the truth chamber. You know that I'm telling you the truth, but you've heard so much fucking conspiracy, bibble babble, dribble drabble. dilly-dally. Everyone's just dilly-dallying, as Mother said. She said, you've heard so much goddamn conspiracy bibble babble that words don't even mean anything to you. And over and over, she would say to me, viruses are technology, nano computer technology that they've had since, say, she said, 53, 54, right around there. They've had wireless nanotechnology, and I do want you to take note of the goddamned fools saying to trust these people. Trust the people who made the virus that it killed people. And people are want to argue there never was a virus. Hey, David Icke, go back to the process church. Oh, there's viruses. There's 33 viruses, each named for members of the process church because they love death, because it scares you. They love to dress in black and look spooky and, try to put in your mind that they are the scary evil that you've always feared. They are the ones that will kidnap your kid and kill and murder people. And then they meet with someone like me because Maria Orsic brings me to them, and they say, hey, buddy, you know as well as I do it's not real. Come on. Are you a fool like them? It's not real. I didn't kill no baby. I didn't rape no kid. There's no kid there. It's just a projection of DNA. And I say, I don't care if it's a projection of DNA or what the fuck you say. It doesn't matter to me what you say. I don't like your energy. I don't like you. And they're like, that's your mistake. We could have a lot of fun. We could be one. We're more similar than we're not. And I'm like, more similar? You're fucking retarded. You and your fat, disgusting God. You, Blavatsky, and ugly Kral face. Go fuck off together. And they're like, but you guys, you know the truth like we know the truth. Blah, blah, we don't care. And they're like, we're gods. We've been initiated by the giants. We passed the same test that you did. We're gods. Hey, and I say, respect to you for being a god. I still don't like you. No one makes me like something, right? I follow Maria because she's the truth. She's the teacher. She don't make me like anything. It's not like when I put Little Richard on. I don't know if I ever told this story. Let's take a lighter break. When first time, the ayahuasca sessions are a bit ran together for me. I can't remember the order at all, right? It could have been the very first one. And I mean, man, you talk about, I know people who are scared of doing ayahuasca. And, of course, Maria says you don't have to go to the goddamn Amazon. You have to spend $5,000 to go to another part of the same earth. These are plants. You don't need a man to introduce you to plants. You're smart enough the fucking deal with plant yourself. I hope. And this might have been this night. I feel like I should say this just on behalf of the plants. And I do believe I was using acacia bark as my, active part, and I was using Syrian rue as the inhibitor, the enzyme inhibitor. And you talk about genius. You don't know plants unless you've done ayahuasca, know the genius of the, I think it's called MOA or MAO enzyme inhibitor, that it inhibits your liver from, and listen to the words, inhibits the liver, the conscious liver, from destroying the psychedelic, mind-altering, taking you to another world DMT through your own goddamn pineal gland, because you're enough. You're the true self. You're God over yourself. This is Maria Orsic's religion. People wonder what the fuck she been doing. Has and will always be practicing her religion, the religion of dance. Dancing your way. I can't say everything she would say. She's the X-rated mother. That's X for true love, for ing, true attraction, which is frequency match. And let's take a moment. Let's pause. If anyone's, let's really pause. In the name of Maria Orsic, in the name of Diana Lucifer, Diana Venus, Delina Lucifer. Let's take a pause. Anyone that has ever found another person in the matrix that brings them true joy, defines a atmosphere, a vibration of happiness, right? Let's give thanks. Let's send out some energy to the persons, men and women, who developed that technology, which allowed us and which caused us to actually come here, because what we really thought was interesting about this simulation, and this is what distinguishes it between all other simulations back home on Venus, is the challenge of knowing someone on Venus who is going to be on Earth at the same time as you, and developing a vibrational frequency relationship that can be found, sought and found on Earth in the simulation, and the only reason to do it is for the celebratory moment of, holy fuck, we did it. We said we would find each other. I found you. And someone say, well, how would you know? You got to understand the astral plane, and where it would really start is to throw away your books about the astral plane, like that Jew fuck Ledbetter, who writes of his own process church experiences to project them onto you, that this is some sort of standard world. It is not. It's the world of imagination. And to listen in the context that he and other people want you to listen is to deceive you, It's to take your individuality away and to tell you, oh, your experiences don't fit into my fucking book and what I say the astral plane is. Hey, listen, Maria's been saying this to me for 14 years. There's only one way to learn. Everyone learns for themselves through experience. And you're a goddamned Lucifer damned fool if you take someone's word for the very most important thing in your life. If you need advice on the very most important thing in your own life, you are fucking helpless. You are the victim. You know, if you need a tarot reading from someone else, and you haven't figured out yet that your own true self knows you better than anyone else, your own true self could do the best tarot reading. Your own true self is going to 100% every time choose the right rune. Right? And let me settle down. Give thanks to Maria and give thanks to the people who created the technology that helped us. Listen, I'm just going to say it one more time. The practical reality of finding someone that you really get along with and truly love for 30 years, 20, 50 years, let alone millions of years, right? Let me tell you, it's 1 in 100 billion. And if you think that you might say, well, we have eternity to experiment and see, fine. No, that's not how it works. Eternity goes in circles like your mind is. And I'm trying to help you break that circle. Because I'm with you. I'm with you. Not above you. Not that I don't have to say that. No one thinks I am. Right? But I'm going to get to the story. Rant. Well, May the 4th, Maria showed up at my house early and she was like, hey, what are you wearing tonight? I go, what? What am I wearing? And let me just give a little context. This was May. In August, I had fell ill. As ill as I had ever been, as predicted by my cat. By my cat as she was dying, who was really Maria Orsic's cat, who was found by the Missouri River, who is super duper magic because she's been in Maria's presence for so long. That's what I would say. But she had died, and fully conscious, I knew how much magic energy she was using to protect me for this very purpose of these podcasts. And writing the books, and the energy work of keeping our people strong on the invisible, unknown plane where nobody knows your name and you ain't gonna get any credit. No one's not gonna be compensated in respect or anything else. But this is a real spiritual warfare, is fought on another plane of existence outside of your body. And if you really care about people, and you will understand, that's the only place you can fight. The video game code makes their weapons better than ours automatically. Because you're dealing with gods. And on May 4th, she said to me, do you have that Shiva shirt? I said, yes. I said, I was looking for, I said, let me try to find it. And I found it. She said, perfect. She said, I'm going to be outside until you're ready. She said, we can start a little early, even if you want. I said, okay. And I got everything ready. And as I said previously, it had been like 12 years since I had a ritual like this. It felt like there was split seconds where I thought there was a actual earthquake happening in St. Louis because it sits on a fault line. How clearly the whole world was shaking to me. Tremors, not continually, but like waves, tremors. And we were dancing like crazy. And me and her, because it had only been me and her for many, many years. And I had met Lou in very strange circumstances, but I never really had a full conversation. When I first met him, he called Maria the lady. I said, you know Maria, you're Maria's teacher, you know Maria? He's like, of course I know the lady. He's like, yeah, I know the lady. I laughed, the lady? Okay. She is the lady. And she said to me, I think it's time for you to lay down. This is in the ritual. The earth is shaking. Which I knew by 600 rituals was clearly I'm about to leave my body. But I was really astonished at what was happening because I didn't really drink any more magic tea than usual. But it felt like my body had absorbed it better or something. I'm serious. And I lay down on the bed and I was literally shaking. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I guess. Because I didn't feel bad at all. And there was good energy, of course. And she's like, can you see me? And I'm like, no, I can't see you. I'm like caught up in some other energy. She's like, okay, just relax, let me know when you can see me. And as I told previous, then I was there with her two braids going all the way down the back of her head and her braids down the back of her. And she had like she looked like a literal queen without a crown. Her hair stacked on top of her head, and it was her crown. It was like a white dress with gold around it, gold frill signs with like a white cape, looking like some ancient goddess. After years of just wearing regular clothes, sometimes skinny jeans. Sometimes she'd be like, "You like my skinny jeans?" She is always wearing things like in date to my date and saying to me, "You don't even know what's going on in the world." And she's like, "That's good, my little monk. Let Mother's been here so many times. I know it. There's nothing out there for you. It's also boring. It's also boring. Fashion is boring because it's meaningless. But her clothes had meaning. In a white dress and white all the way down, white high heels with gold vril signs on them. And she was even holding some like gold magic wand. And when I finally did see her, I literally, I mean, this attests to how long we hung out together. I literally gasped and went, what? Why are you dressed like that? What's going on? And that was like, she was like, because that's when I left my body. And she's like, Joe, look at me. And I looked at her and she's like, there's something you're supposed to say. And my mind just went completely blank. And she went, how do you feel? And I went, I feel like Yay West, because he had just been going through like being persecuted by all the media, about saying the truth about this fake, stupid ass religious bullshit that we know, right? The banker religion, let's call it that. And by simply, just like Michael Jackson, it's like a repeat of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson saying, this is the reality of who's doing this to me. It's a religion of it. They have a religion of it, but fake scriptures of it, right? So, Yay West. And I mean, that, my mind was completely blank when she said, there's something there. No, she actually said, there are words, Joe, you are supposed to say. And I went, I don't know them. And she said, how do you feel? And I just went, like Yay West. And when I did, it was like something grabbed me and pulled me forward in a millionth of a millisecond. And me and her were standing exactly where we were standing in my room, but we were standing in another room, and there was a hooded monk standing on the other side of me, and a giant stone throne, and a giant dude, and I immediately recognized, this is Yahweh from my dream in the year 2000 that predicted all of this. All of this and everything in my entire life has been predicted by Maria step by step, but no one cares, except me. And, I've found that most people don't want healing. They really don't, and they don't want to be healers either. What they want is respect and recognition, but they're going about it the wrong way, I think. That'd be my opinion. A little side note. I looked at Maria in this new room. It was a room with a very nice floor. And I looked at Maria, and she walked close to me, and telepathically with her mind she said, Joe, May the 4th really was with you. And I laughed. And that really lightened the whole thing, because my immediate vibration was, I was scared. I didn't, just like any unknown thing, I didn't know what was happening exactly. And really, to tell you the truth, to this point, I wasn't sure who Yahweh really was. I mean, as far as my teacher taught me, and as like she said, hey, they want us to take it literal. Let's take it literal. War on Yahweh. Yahweh's evil. Yahweh said kill children. Yahweh said kill innocent people. If you don't believe in killing innocent people and persecuting, torturing, hurting children, killing even newborn babies, killing animals, then you can't believe in Yahweh. He absolutely, if you say you believe in the God of the Bible, you believe that. You believe that the universal God of all things said, go kill those people's children because you're chosen and they're not. That's the only fucking reason. And you can say, he knew they would grow up to be terrorists. Do you hear what you're saying? You've now left the data. You've left what has actually happened. And you're justifying. You're justifying in your own mind an evil God. And that God isn't the universal God that created all things. That God is Aleister Crowley. And he wants to trick you so he can scare the living fuck out of you after you die by saying to you, as God, the very thing. I said, kill their babies. Do you agree? And I left Yahweh in 2009. And, in a way, in my own little understanding, part of the punishment was I'm going to kill the people you love because this is an actual being. And he's the Godfather mob boss. You left me. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to send someone to break your kneecaps, And my best friend, he couldn't because it wasn't predestined. It was predestined for him to experience and learn it another way. But the guilt and just absolute nonsense of Christianity, drove him to kill himself. Also, the nonsense and belief of everything will be forgiven. Everything will be better when you die. He's in a better place. That's all taught to you by Aleister Crowley. He's behind Hollywood. He's behind commercial music, commercial movies, commercial books. Everything since World War II is the Crowley Anity vision. It's the vision. What is the vision? Chaos, murder, fighting, death, horror. It's being projected to you through the media that you allow. You allow it. At any time, the people could get together with pitchforks and torches and take care of the studios. They could take care of the movie theater. We could have communities where there's only good media, right? It's like I was saying, should we train in martial arts? Of course we should. Should we beat each other's head in for money before crowds like goddamn animals? And the people who sit there and watch it, you're even worse. You're worse. You're worse than the fucking people who are doing it. Really? That's how you're entertained? Watching people hurt each other. That's fun? That's how you're desensitized to your enemy, to your fake enemies, right? To your fake enemies. Oh, the brown people. Oh, the Muslims. Oh, the Muslims. Well, I'm with everyone who's saying you are the great Satan. Whatever that means. You are the great evil. You're the great evil in this world because you projected it and spread it like it was good. You were proud of your evil. Right? That's Maria. But back to it. Forgive me. Let me take a small I'm a Leo sun, Scorpio moon. it's just going to be hot and cold. It's, this is her way of projecting her words, numbers, teachings into the world, meaning the meaning of who Maria Orsic is in the Vril Society. What is the Vril Society about? The things I'm teaching you. It's about freely giving those teachings to anybody and everyone without asking for anything back, even allegiance. Just, it's natural law, and then we're just giving you our testimonies of how natural law always wins. There's no contradictions in nature. There's exceptions but not contradictions. So back to May 5th. And again, she said to me before that throne, because I said, why do you have those clothes on? And she laughed and she hugged me. And she said, Joe, do not be afraid. Tonight's the night you will be set free. She said, all the bullshit talk about the truth will set you free. She said, well, turn around. And I turned around, and I knew the throne was like on my left side. I knew what she was talking about. And I thought, I swear, call me dumb, but I swear I thought I was going to have this like contest with Yahweh before, I thought that's what I was there for. I thought literally, I was like, oh my God, I am fucking in real time. This is my mind war contest with Yahweh, happening now, so it doesn't have to happen when I die. And I was partly right, except the first thing he said, he turned around, he said, Joseph, Jojo. He said my name, like all kinds of versions of my name. Joey, Joe, Joseph. Then he said, really, Joe, you really are my Joseph from the Bible, my book. And I literally took a step back. I thought, my book, here we fucking go. Here we go. This is going to be an argument about the goddamn Bible? Okay, I'm ready. Oh, kill children? Slavery's okay? Women are fucking soulless fucking pieces of meat to be fucked. And all my answers were going to be, not according to my experience, I don't agree. I am a slave, so fuck. You think I'm going to agree? I'm in this simulation as a fucking slave, right? They take 40-something% of everything I make. I get food and clothes and shelter. That's a slave. A slave was given food, clothes, and shelter so he could keep working. I'm given food, clothes, and shelter so I can keep working. While I'm under scientific what do you mean scientific dictatorship? I mean viruses that are technology that are controlling your lifespan. And even to the point, controlling your thoughts unless you're very strong. Unless you're able to, get away from the matrix body. And back to it though. I thought your book, whoa. But I wasn't feeling a threatening vibe. But I was very cautious because I didn't want to be deceived. And I also, with Maria standing there and this other hooded monk guy that I was like, hey, I think that's Odin. The coolest dude I've ever met on the astral plane. That would be Maria Orsic's God. I was like feeling pretty good. Like, hey, here's Maria Orsic's God. On my other side, I got Mother right here. I'm ready, and it began with, hey, I'm not your enemy, and I am Yahweh. And with his mind telepathically said, I'm an author. It's a character I created. So, and with his mind, he said to me, like George Lucas created Darth Vader. And for real, like a whole tension kind of went out of me, and I went, God damn, I'm the fool. God damn, why can't I, and I do know these things, but why can't I see it that, like, it was put crystal clear to me, like, there's no in between there, buddy. I'm the fucking author of this book, the editor author of this book, and I am here as the author telling you that's a fucking character I created. And he said, look at me, look at my face. He said, I don't have that makeup on anymore. I don't have those clothes on anymore. He's like, I'm not Marilyn Manson. He said, I came here as myself, Joe. I'm not here to harm you. And I took no pleasure ever in harming you. He said, look at me, look at my face. And I tried, but the light was so bright, but I could see his hat, and I could see his like big collar, and I could see that his clothes were like brown and green, like he said, I'm not wearing black leather. I looked at it, and my mind instinctually went, who are you? And he went, I'm Robin Hood. And when he said, I'm Robin Hood, I seen a bird, a robin, sitting on a branch with a hat on and like a bow and arrow, a bow, like an arrow quiver on its back. And I went, oh, I was like shocked by like how powerful, like the vision, it was like I was taken there. And I came back and I was stunned, and he went, I steal from the rich and give to the poor. And I was just fucking stunned. He was like, you know the story of Robin Hood, don't you? Sherwood Forest, Sherwood, the very tree that's sure. He was like, you remember I said I live in the tree? You remember I took your granddaughter in the sure wood, where everything is not up in the air. It's sure. It's for sure. And I went, who are you? Who are you? And I started to get emotional. And I think he didn't want me to be emotional, so he said, I'm your friend. You know who I am. I'm Whitehawk. And I went, ah. And he went, I heard what you said about me, and I heard what you said about my book. And, I just want to say, I don't want this to be dramatic, but I had a, like, angry moment. I have to, give a little background here, to why he would say, I heard what you called me, and I heard what you said about my book. Because, and it flashed in my mind exactly what he was talking about. He was talking about a specific instance with a brother that I had been through the whole Rastafarian Christian journey. And I was telling my experiences with Maria Orsic and war on Yahweh, and what is actually wrong wrong, morally disgusting about the Bible and how the Bible would suggest that the universal energy personality was evil, and this person was getting nervous, and he was. I really didn't know exactly where he was. I thought he was with the rest of the band that was not Christian, I mean, everyone that I was playing music with in a band at that time was like, yeah, clearly the Bible's a fucking mess. Word of God, get the fuck out of here. And he was looking scared, and he was like, I think he said something like, maybe like, I understand what you're saying about the Bible, but I still believe in Jah. And I was like, but you mean the God of the Bible, right? And he's like, well, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And I went, tribe of fucking Judah? That's the fucking stupid shit, Like, he goes, I know. I said, brother, I just want to make it clear, like the shit I've been going through, and I don't want to say the word, because it is offensive. Because it's the worst word in our culture you can call someone. In my world, at least. Growing up, I was 16 in 1985. Really, the most controversial word was the N word, and we believed in the polarity of that word. I grew up since first grade with black friends. We never knew the difference. Everyone was human to us. Clearly, we knew black people who were morally better than us. And I'm talking about me and my best friend. I can just speak for myself, I knew black kids growing up who went to church, who didn't drink, who didn't party. And I liked them because they kept me kind of balanced. They cared about me, and they'd be like, hey, you really don't have to, be cool. And I was friends with everyone. Our high school was a very, I think, different high school than most. It really, truly was 50% white, 50% black. And it wasn't completely, but truly, a lot of the social boundaries of groups were broken, Like, me and my friends were some of the first punk rockers ever, and I did almost get murdered for being a punk rocker. Someone threw a half-full beer bottle at my head as I was riding a skateboard, and it missed me by about a couple feet, and it was going like 50 miles an hour or whatever, you know what I mean? If it would have hit me, I would have definitely went to the hospital. But I didn't get an actual lot of persecution at school. I mean, there was people that made fun of me, but I didn't care. I had jock friends, real friends, from grade school, who were jocks, burnouts, nerds, smart people. That's what we call nerds. And art people, music people. I took like one semester of some kind of drama something, and it was first hour, and it was probably the hardest I was partying in my life. And I told the teacher, no disrespect for you, but I literally can't stay awake in that class, and I don't need the class to graduate. I didn't want her to be offended, and I tried to do what I could, but I did no homework. I think I did fail the class. It was just impossible. But we had a very open class, like, in all those groups of people were literally 50% white and 50% black. Like in ninth grade, when some of our friends started getting a license, we had a black friend, and we were like, hey, dude just got his license. We're going to go do something. We'll come pick you up. And he's like, oh, no, that's cool. You don't have to, man. He's like, I actually don't live by school. And we're like, what? We had not, we totally forgot, did not know. Like I said, maybe we knew and forgot. But I mean, we genuinely were like, what the fuck are you talking about? How do you get to school? And he's like, oh, well, they do send a bus for me, and we're like, what? We, dumb fools, we're the fool card every time. And, he lived in the city and was bused, like a fucking 40-minute drive each way to school and back. And it's sad to see the working classes that your whole life is spent working. Are you that dumb that you don't realize that, even 6 or 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, is pretty much your whole life, because you're too tired, you don't have the energy to do or think deep thoughts or do much more. Like, you don't understand. You don't understand a natural human being, how he needs time alone, time in beauty and nature. And you are a slave to the American nightmare ideas that this is security and this is good. It would be if health was put first, and it wasn't at the expense of millions of dead other working class people just like you. And the hypocrisy of these people are evil enough to do it to them, they'll do it to us next. And they will, because it's a suicidal Golden Dawn mission. I'm sorry. Excuse me. But back to Lou and the end of this session. Give thanks to Mother. So, before the throne of Lucifer, he was trying to tell me, I've always been with you, man. Everything's predestined and everything's ordained, even you calling me an N-word. He said, you know why? Because it was authentic. It literally was the worst thing you could think of, to call that character Yahweh, who would command other men to kill babies and kill women and children. He was like, that's why you're here tonight. That's why you're going home. This is a ceremony, not to scare you, but to tell you that this initiation finally is over. And you don't have to worry about anything. You thought you were going to die, but you're not going to die. You knew you were going to die, and you are going to testify before the world that the magic of the black magicians would have killed you, and I would have died. But I, Lucifer, made you live to this moment because, Joe, May the 4th really was with you. And the whole test was if you one day would get the courage to call me a N-word.